Hello.
Hey Goldie, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, our pleasure. So we have Goldie Uttam Chandani here, who is a teen and family coach based out of Barcelona, Spain. And she has taken her time out to discuss with us a few important points that we believe that will be truly beneficial to our viewers. Thank you and welcome once again.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, so I'm going to start this with an interesting point. Goldie, whenever parents approach for coaching, right, I often hear this interesting thing. They often interchangeably use the term coaching and counseling. Then say,
Mm.
hey, they introduce me saying that, hey, we have Lax, who's a counselor. She helps kids. And then I say, yeah, I help kids, but I do coach. I'm a coach, right? And that's what I do. I would like to hear what your experience has been in this.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Firstly, thank you for asking me that. I definitely echo your feelings. When I first began my own journey, a lot of the parents or adults or sponsors would, in fact, think that it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And And as a consequence of that, they also felt it was a struggle to bring the teenager into the space to get the coaching done.
Mm-hmm.
And what I figured out very quickly was the definition that they had of coaching was more of a counselor, which in layman's terms, I think the most important thing to observe is the difference in power dynamics that any other form of therapy or intervention has versus the completely balanced approach that we have in coaching with our clients.
Mm-hmm.
And once this was settled and understood, suddenly I felt that the child or the teenager was a lot more open to meeting with me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And every single session invariably asks this question to the kid who is participating. So, do you like this session? How do you like this session? They all invariably say, we do like it so much because they also add the because there and say, because we get to talk here about ourselves. Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, or something I've often heard is you're providing me the space because you listen.
Yeah. So, on the same lines, Goldie, would you like to add when could a parent approach a coach?
Well, I think the most important fundamental reason a parent would want a coach to come into the picture is, is when there is something that the parent themselves is unable to manage, navigate, not fix, because as you and I know, we don't fix problems. We
Correct.
support, we facilitate.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first instance where I ask the parents, so what's going on? I mean, you have to have that conversation, right? And more often than usual, it's something that's not going according to how they would like it to go. And so
Absolutely.
that's how the coaching, comes in. Now the difference is the parent will always be systemically higher than the child because of the hierarchical nature
Mm-hmm.
of the
Mm-hmm.
relationship. But I make it very clear to the parent, well, you're bringing in your teenager, daughter, son. The difference will be that we will be on par, and this will be the opportunity for your child to find some self empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
As
Mm-hmm.
they hear that word, it rings a positive bell for
Yeah,
them.
yeah, well said. And especially when you touched upon that when there is a disconnect, what they want to achieve, and if they are not able to achieve it, right, then they could approach a coach. I'm seeing that very much resonating, very impactful for the teenagers as they are in the crucial years, the formative years of the teenage period, no? They undergo a lot of changes, and when we throw advices, say, or directive statements, do this, do that, most of the times we could get pushbacks. and that could,
Backfired, was it? Yeah.
yeah, backfired, right? And it could turn rebellious too. Yeah.
Yes.
And that is when I felt that coaching has been very helpful in terms of empowering the kids and
Oh,
bring out the best in them. Yeah.
because I think a lot of parents forget to, I think it's not that they forget, it's such a natural and organic process to be a parent. But there is a difference between early years, middle years, and then adolescent years, where the brain of the child initially mimics and copies the parent, which is perfect. Early years is all about
Mhm.
instructive.
Mhm.
The middle years are about uh, placing certain limits because they start to become a little bit more mobile. And that's when the child brings a development in themselves to, idolize the parent. And they are their idols, which is also a perfectly synonymous and harmonious relationship. But what happens in teenagers is because of all the other developmental changes that they're facing, they are no longer idolizing the parent or any other adult figure. They want like-minded people around them.
Mm.
No, they just want to see people as equals, right? Because what they're doing is trying to discover who they are.
Yeah, yeah, their identity formation is in the making, and they would like to look up to non-parental adults, right?
Yeah,
So their village is expanding beyond the parents. So it's
yeah,
no longer just the parent and making them happy, right? Early years was always, oh, if I get kudos from mama, papa, I'm so happy. So it's no longer the same. Yeah, well said, well said.
mean, I think what I'm observing, Lax, from the conversation we're having is coaching is still fairly upcoming in India, and it's finding its place to what I'm understanding from the way we're having this conversation and dialogue. Is that so?
I think so too. When I started,
Yeah,
I thought it was, hey, such a powerful technique. So why would we apply this only to leadership, right? Why not apply it for teenagers? And it's so powerful, and the teenagers are in need of this, right? That's when I did the market study, and but when I looked deeper, then I understood that it was already existing in the Western countries and used as a powerful way of intervention for teenage kids too. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've been in this market for just over a decade now, and when I began my journey, I was very clear on my own vision to
Mhm.
work with teenagers. So, as you rightly said, there was a market for it already, and there were specialists who were, very well known in the world of coaching. So it definitely begs the question, well, if we are working with adult leaders, our leaders of tomorrow are these teenagers. So why not equip them to feel the same empowerment that we're giving our corporate leaders? And I think we both align on that very much, don't we?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's the
Purpose.
whole thought process behind this. And as you said earlier, when I look at the number of coaches, even in our coaches peer circle and so on, right? The number of coaches who are dedicated to work with teenagers are way lesser than the ones who are working with corporate leaders,
Yeah.
senior leaders, and so on. So I think definitely it's upcoming, and the people are getting to know it. The more they see the impact and the more they get to know, I think it will grow. One other thing, Goldie, that comes to my mind as we talk is consistently, irrespective of what the parent comes in, what the client comes in for coaching, I'm seeing a few common thread as a positive outcome for each of the coaching session. For example, I could see an improved self awareness, right? And growing accountability. So they take more responsibility for their own actions. And I also see an improved confidence in them, right? So these are a few common things that I could notice. I would like to hear from you based on your experience. What would you like to add here?
One thing that is definitely very synonymous to the times that we are in today. So we're talking about strictly Generation Z and Alpha, who are our current, let's say up to, I would say, latest 23-year-olds and as young as 10-year-olds, they are products of very poor communication because of the impact of technology that's had on them.
Mm.
I find coaching gives them that platform to relearn their communication style and how to have those conversations with other adults or their parents or members in their community, which
Mm-hmm.
this in turn gives them the confidence which they don't have. So if you are able to communicate your message across verbally or even write in writing and avoid using a phone and text or even leaving a voice message, this adds a layer of confidence to their personalities and to their sense of their mindset in general. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that is something that I consistently observe. They intuitively pick up on how to communicate. And I think it's all backed up by what you're saying. They become more self-aware because they become more introspective
Right.
through the listening that they are given thanks to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a privilege to be listened to, isn't it? Even as an adult. So
Mm-hmm.
they get a space for an hour where there is unconditional listening without any judgment, and no one's telling them how to do it. They're becoming more creative. So that's the second point I'm going to share with you. There's high communication being seen and higher creativity.
You touched upon a very important point on creativity also, which means that they are coming up with their own solutions, right? Yeah, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. One other thing that comes to me right now is their perspective taking is also improving. Every time they say, yeah, earlier I used to think that my way or the highway, right? Now it's not like that. Oh, okay, so people have different perspectives. It's okay to be like that. Yeah.
Indeed. And when you are able to see different perspectives, you are not so self-judgmental either.
Hmm.
I think a lot of them wear a mask which shows I'm defensive because you're not listening to me. But the truth is, they feel insecure in their own skin. And once they recognize that actually what I'm feeling, others might be feeling, but in a very different way or in
Mm-hmm.
a different age bracket altogether, this relaxes them to understand I'm not being judged. I'm just open to curiosity.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So communication, creativity, curiosity. For me, these three C's are sort of the benchmark of their improvement. Because
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all these insights, Goldie, today.
you're very welcome. It was so nice to speak to you, and I hope that we can do this again for any other topic.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a pleasure having you here, and thank you so much for taking time to spend some time with us and share your experience and insights. I'm sure viewers will find this helpful. And namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Thank you.